A bit under 4 hours north of San Francisco lies one of the greatest national parks in the United States, Lassen Volcanic National Park. As you drive away from the city, it's amazing how quickly you enter the remoteness and how incredible the landscape can change in just a few hundred miles. Like Yellowstone, the park is known for its boiling mud pots, hydrothermal areas, and vast landscapes, but with about 1/10 the crowd size. This is the perfect national park to go out and explore without feeling crowded out by some of the larger US national parks. We visited the national park over a period of 2 days and checked out some of the best nooks and crannies the park has to offer. Before we get to the adventure, let's do a quick history of this weirdly named place. The oddly spelled Bumpass Hell is named after this guy, Kendall Van Nook Bumpass, who lived in the area in the 1860s. Why the hell part of the name? As the story goes, while walking through the area, he broke through the crust and had his legs severely burned by the boiling mud. Oof. Luckily today, Bumpass Hell has a visitor platform now, so you won't have to risk boiling your leg off to get a view. Unless you are this tour group we saw, who ignored the dozens of marked signs.
Probably like 5 signs down there. You can't step off. One, they hiked in on a closed trail that the park goes out of its way to tell you is closed. You come into the park, as soon as you hand the guy the money to get in, he's like, oh yeah, Bumpass is closed. It's the first thing the guy says. And these fucking people are just, not only do they hike Bumpass Trail, they're walking on to the sulfur flats right next to the geysers, cheering and like taking rocks as souvenirs. It's like literally the worst behavior you could have at a national park.
But I digress. There are multiple ways to reach this location, either from the Bumpass Hell Trail or from the lesser traveled but more scenic trail, the Kings Creek Trail, which is the one we went on. What makes Kings Creek Trail special is not only the amazing, mostly covered forest walk full of lush green, mossy trees and wildflowers.
Wildflowers in full bloom right now, as you can see. There's was it the Lycian paintbrush? Which is probably actually not what it's called, but it's really beautiful. Just constantly surrounded in these fields.
But it also gives you a chance to look at the cold, boiling lake en route to Bumpass Hell. Cold Boiling Lake sits at the base of the mountain that makes its way to Bumpass Hell, and is so named because of cold CO2 bubbles that escape the earth from the center of the lake.
Holy crap, that's a big tree. It's like a big fat tree next to a skinny tree.
We're going in and out of shade. The temperature is beautiful. The sky is beautiful right here. You know, even though we see a burning fire in the distance, it's still, you smell the amazing fresh air. You see so many things. The first 2 miles were going easy, and then here's the last half mile and it's starting to kick my ass. Almost there to Bumpass. Bumpass is how it's spelled. I wish it was pronounced that too, but it's not. But we're almost there to striking gold.
The terrain of Bumpass is incredible, with snow still spotting the mountaintop in vast boiling pots with surreal coloring filling in the valley of the broke-off volcano, Mount Tahama. The boardwalks allow an up-close look at the hydrothermal activity. And everywhere you look, new colors appear from the sulfur spewing runoff of the pits, with trees seemingly willing their way to the sky from the incredible hostile terrain. Bumpass gives a great look into how hostile the earth Lassen covers could be, and where there are volcanoes, there are magma tubes that power them, which is where we go next. The subway cave lava tube sits on the northern edge of Lassen, technically in the confines of Lassen National Forest. The tubes are hardened caves that formed when lava flowed through them 20,000 years ago. Today, it's a nice 1/3 mile self-guided pitch black tour.
It's really scary inside the tunnel because it's really dark and because snakes.
A short distance from the parking lot lies the entrance above a few stairs.
We see some troglodytes down here, which is a cave person.
It might seem like just a tunnel, but it starts to feel like another world with every step. The jagged floor reminds you of its harsh past, and you feel the difference in the air immediately.
Well, it's really cold in here, and it's dark, and a little bit spooky.
The cave is a self-guided tour, using only your flashlight. This lets you explore the cave and experience it however you like, with information posted throughout its distance.
That might be a mark. And here, different layers of lava flow. The wall looks pretty cool.
The nooks and crannies of the cave allow you to get lost in its darkness, with insurance that its short distance means you are never truly lost.
Alright, it's pretty dark in here. I can see it in your can't see
But even in pitch dark, the caves remind you that total darkness could still be amazing.
Crazy.
She is a little crazy. She's got the cave fever.
As we head towards the exit, the light shows the form of the cave, and the temperature starts to rise as we head down the road to the trailhead for Cinder Cone, an extinct Cinder Cone volcano. Cinder Cone can be accessed from Butte Lake in the northeast corner of the park, which can actually take you several hours to access if you are coming from the visitor center located on the southwest, but it is well worth a detour to the other side of the park. The Cinder Cone is thought to have gone off as recently as 350 years ago, which has left the trail covered in black sand.
Technically considered cinder, but to me it just looks like it feels like black sand, which is as difficult and unpleasant as it sounds to walk in.
We're not even to the point where it's supposed to be really windy. It's already super windy. We know that as we continue to work up the mountains and we feel more exposed, the wind's gonna really start to hit us. We're not there yet, but we already walking like quicksand.
It's actually not that steep. If it were like rocky, it'd be fine. But the combination of the two.
Getting to the top of the 700-foot tall Cinder Cone is a challenge. The whole way up is super steep.
Look at this trail. It's straight freaking up this giant Cinder Cone.
I'm not gonna lie, getting up there kinda sucks. But hang in there. I'm not claiming to be in the best of shape, but it felt like every step you took forward, you sunk about half a step back.
So it was advertised as a hike up the Cinder Cone. It's more like a trudge or a death march. I guess it depends on the semantics of the situation. But this barren, blighted hellscape is actually pretty beautiful, I guess.
On the way up, the clouds cleared the sky, allowing us a look at Fairfield Peak in the distance over the recently charred trees. Once on top, the shape of the cone was remarkable, with paths winding down just as steeply for those brave enough to go all the way back down to the base of the extinct volcano, and an inner layer which gave you a brief escape from the high wind to catch your breath, which is a bit harder to catch when you are 7,000 feet above sea level.
Had a little bit of elevation change.
The panoramic views above the cone were awesome, allowing you a total 360 view of the entire park. The trees on top of the cone are rugged, wind-scarred, and tough as nails. The lava bed left behind by the Cinder Cone surrounds the entire base. The painted hill dunes butt right up against those lava beds, adding even more contrast to their distinct and silky smooth red, orange, and brown coloration.
Going down is a lot more fun than going up.
We covered our top 3 things at Lassen Volcanic, but make no mistake, this park is full of wonderful adventures ripe for the taking. Like climbing Mount Lassen, smelling the rotten eggs as sulfur works, looking at the crystal clear water of Lake Helen, or taking a quick trip up to see Bernie Falls. Whether you have 2 days or a week, Lassen is sure to give you an adventure like no other.